Right then guys, we've come back in now. It's been a few days later, if not a couple of weeks. And to be perfectly honest, I forgot to get the camera out for some of the stages. But this is where I am now, and this will be where I'll leave you in this episode, because I'm waiting for a few things to turn up now before I can do some more. So compared to the last clip, quite a lot's happened. Both inspection pits are now down. So, you have got the smaller one over here, and then I've soldered wires on these two tracks here and run it underneath the inspection pit and managed to drill out through the bottom using a hand drill. And then the same with the big inspection pit. I'd cut out the hole for that already. Then I've glued the track down and the track down, soldered some wires to that, run them through to the bottom of the baseboard. So now we have got some trains running, but there's still stuff on the rails, so they're not running perfectly. If I give this little one a nudge. So we've got stuff running now anyway. But there's some crap on the rails at the minute and it needs clean. I'm still unsure about having a track at the back. I like the idea of having some of the things that need restoring at the back. Maybe not that much, maybe just like one. Might just have that Western diesel over there, and then I can squeeze a couple of coal wagons in. Tempted to get one of the new Hornby locos, diesel locos that's coming out, and that'll only be tiny, so that could squeeze down the side there as well. That is where I'm going to put the coal stage. I'm going to make one, I think. I think that's still the plan. And I quite fancy making it much bigger than this one. I was thinking about having it the same size, but I quite like the idea of having it run the full length of the pit. And then I can have it open on one side and then enclosed in a corner on the other, potentially with a little cover over the top. I've seen it somewhere and I thought it looked quite cool, but not sure. Need to have a bit more of a route around on the internet for that. As you can probably see, if I take this away, I have popped some balsa wood, I think it is, down for the concrete for the engine shed. Down there. So that's how large the shed's going to be. So it'll run all the way back. It can fit these two locos that I've got in there quite nicely. But it would probably take like 3 tank engines, but only one tender engine and a tank engine. But I quite like that for now, with the potential of, well, it's only a small board, isn't it? But with the potential of me making an actual layout, I can have another place on the layout to store more locos. But I quite like this idea at the minute, because there's going to be a station area on the near side. As you look at it towards the bottom of the screen, there'll be like a signal box and a station and stuff there. And then slightly further up the line, there used to be a little timber yard merchant, I think. So there was another single road engine shed / goods shed there with a turntable. Not sure how big the turntable was. Could have just been for a single tank engine, but I would have thought there are no pictures that I can find, so I can be a little bit cheeky and just put a bigger turntable in. And I could make, because there's no pictures of the shed there either that I can find, so I can literally go to town and put in like a big 3-4 road shed down there, and then I can have all the diesels down the side, up the front. I can have a few extra sidings for bits and pieces. The station area will have some more sidings because there used to be a little bit of goods loading there as well. So there's lots of potential for when I have space to put this in, depending on how much space I have. But this is where I've got at the minute, so I've managed to get some of the locos out and about on the board. So I've got my King, I've got the P-Class, I've got the pannier tank, and a couple of the things that I got from eBay that are supposed to, non-runners, but look really cool as like scrap, or engines to be restored, I should say, on Heritage Line. So we've got all that set out, but like I was saying, let's get back on topic. I've put some balsa wood down here for the base of the engine shed. I wasn't so sure about it, but I've just gone ahead, I've glued it down and I've painted it. And it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. It looks quite good. It was easy to cut, easy to stick down. There's a little bit more height compared to the lip of the actual inspection pit. It's probably slightly lower than the rails, so that's quite cool. So it does kind of look like things would run into the inspection pit and drain off in there. I have painted and glued in this buffer here, which is one of the Pico bullhead rail buffers, which look very cool. If I take the camera off here, if it wants to, there we go. I will come in a little bit closer for you. So you've got that one there. I've painted it up, dry brushed it, put some washes on it to make it look a bit older. So that looks quite cool in there. And then obviously you've got all the inspection pit all the way along with steps at either end, if I can get that to focus. Steps there. As you come up, I've got these little plates underneath the P-Class. I've got this where I've put in another plate and some more steps because it's quite a long inspection pit, so I thought that would look quite cool. I have painted it, washed it to make it look a bit grimy because I don't have an airbrush, so I've just been using lots of washes and things to try and make it look more natural, less brush strokes and things. Let me pop it back on the tripod. As you can probably see, I have painted the baseboard in brown that I got from the works or something. It's like £1, £2 in a burnt umber or something. So that's all been painted, and then yesterday, I'm still waiting for it to dry, but where I know there's going to be lots of grass areas, I've put down this fine soil from Woodland Scenics. Yeah, it's an old bag that I had from when I last tried to make a layout and it didn't work out. So, oh, excuse me. I've popped that down, glued down first, sprinkled it over the top, put some more like watered down super glue over the top after wetting it, and then sprinkled a little bit more in areas where I've wanted it. Ready to take some static grass that I'm going to order today. But yeah, but I feel like the next thing that I really need to do before I go ahead with anything else is the engine shed, which I will come back to in another clip in a minute, but there's a lot of work that needs doing on the engine shed before I get going, really. Saying that, this is the main bit that needs to go down so I can carry on with everything else. I've glued some wooden bits on the front as well, so now that I can put some PVC windows in here and make this little bit for the front, and then once this bit is in and fixed, I know where the engine shed's going to be because it'll all rest on top of here, and then I can just get on with all the groundworks and stuff then. So I think that might be the next plan, is paint the engine shed unsure whether I'm going to put anything inside the engine shed. I'd like to, but that's a job for another day. I may do something in this little room here and get that done, because then I can stick it down and leave it. And then I've got some sawdust ordered to do what will be the ballast of the track, because apparently in engine shed areas, instead of having ballast, you'd have sawdust down, or like an ash type thing, like material down that isn't stones. So I'll put that down. Then I've got the oil spill kit from Hatton's, which I can then sprinkle down, put over the top, make it look nice and grimy there. I'd like to do that with an airbrush, but that might be a bit of a challenge at the moment, so I may leave off actually putting down any oil spills. Either that, or I really water it down and I go really lightly with a paintbrush. But that's where I'm going to leave it today, guys. Hopefully next time I'll have some more updates on the engine shed, or I'll put a little clip in or some photos in a minute of the engine shed as it is now, which is just lots of pieces not put together. I've got the coal stage to make, I've got all the groundworks to do, potentially a little bit inside there just so I can stick it down and crack on. But that's where I am at the moment, guys. Hopefully I'll get a little bit further and have another video up soon. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back to the Malvern Line. A little bit of progress made on the layout now from the last video. I'm not sure if I put any images of the shed up, but still nothing's happened with that. I've managed to get some soil and some sawdust to start putting down, you know, the base scenery. As you can probably see, I've also got another line in. I have decided that that line is going to go in. It's now stuck down, hopefully. It's still a bit wet, so I'm not going to touch it, but because I'm going to run a heritage line, I've decided to put another line in, so that we can have sort of like rusted down engines and bits of old freight and stuff hidden down the side there. And also it gives me a chance to put the coal stage in here, and then as long as no stock sort of comes past where the shed will start here, we can have a coal wagon, a couple of coal wagons pushed in there to unload coal onto the coal stage. So that's my plan. I had a bit of a play around yesterday, thinking about putting a point in here and having a couple of lines, but then there's not much space here for another one. So in the end, I've decided just to wire up a full length of flexi track, because I haven't got a drill to go through the board, so I haven't split it up into, you know, what would probably be 3 or 4 lengths of 60-foot track. So for this one, I've just put it all down. It's only down with PVA, so I could, in the future, pull it up, cut it up, and put it back together and lay it down. For now, it's just one full length of flexi track put in here. It just, once it's dry, it'll just need a bit of a tidy up. And then I will probably paint the sawdust in this brown that I've done all the base in. Then, if you bear with me a second, I have got the Hatton's oil spill kit somewhere. Here we are. So we have the Hatton's oil spill kit. So all it is this powder. I probably won't use it down here so much, but out the front of the shed and around the pits and the other side of the coal stage, we'll use that. You also get an oil spill solution. I'm hoping that I can sort out a airbrush to do that, because I don't like the idea of painting it on, because it'll be very thick, because I feel like this is quite watery anyway. Is it open? Can't remember if I opened it now. Yeah, it's quite watery anyway, but I still feel like if you put it on with a brush, it's going to go on thicker, much thicker than if you just go with an airbrush and just do little bits and just cover up what you don't want to cover. I know I did all the pits and everything with a brush, but again, like, I can go over that with a little bit of an airbrush and everything, and that'll be fine. After watching Everard Junction the other day, doing ballasting and painting his track, I think, especially down this side, I'm definitely going to be painting the rails with sort of like, is it sleeper grime, maybe a rust colour down here, because I'll have all this quite overgrown, and then I can just have old bits of stock knocking around on there. I have got another buffer to put in up here, like this one, but today this is literally just needs to dry. Then I will paint it and tidy up the track and everything, and then the next step will be static grasses and things for the scenery. I'm still unsure whether I'm going to have this bit sloping away. I know I've covered it all in soil now. I'm still unsure whether to slope that out, because I'm going to have a fence that runs along the back here, and then in reality the fence would stop about here and then run down the side of the track and probably curve round with it, and I could have an embankment here with some trees in the bottom corner, so you've got a little bit of perspective. I could do that today, I guess, rather than waiting for all this to dry. It's not far off. Down here is very wet still, but yeah, I could do that today. I could cut out an embankment down here, which would be quite good. That I could super glue some more soil and stuff on there, which wouldn't be a bad idea actually. As you can see, the engine shed still hasn't progressed anymore. It will go there, so all I've got there is some stone and some wood. Same with the other end, and then the sides are still like this. I need to get windows put in, but I'm putting it off because I can't find a good enough template to put a window in there. Like on the wood, I think cutting out the windows would be easy. It's when it comes to cutting them out on the plastic card that's going to fit in this little insert here. Trying to get that to cut out of there is going to be a little bit more difficult, I think, even with a brand new scalpel blade, because it's all riveted. If you find a bit of resistance, then you're like jumping and it becomes all jerky. But that's where we are at the minute. I might go away, cut out this embankment now, and come back and show you that before I carry on. Hopefully I'll leave a little bit of the foam board at the bottom, so it'd be easier to stick trees and things in. So I might leave like a centimetre or so, and then just have a little bit of an embankment up towards the line there, whereas in reality it was much, much steeper. Probably, really, I probably want another bit of foam board on top to be realistic, and it was quite a sheer drop. But I haven't got the room, because this slots underneath my bed, so if I keep stacking it up, and then once I've got the shed on there properly and everything, it's going to be very hard to get it in and out from under the bed. But there we are, guys. Hopefully I'll come back to you in a minute with the slope cut out, maybe some painting done. I may wait until I've got a little bit more done before I film it, but that's where we are. I may try and do some stuff from the shed, even though I'm very reluctant to. I suppose the easiest thing that I could do is start sticking these things on here. Although, when I did do this and cut all this out and bought the material, what I didn't rely on was, I have, maybe not on this one, but definitely on these, like that will slot in there, but I haven't taken into account the little overlap that I've got there. So hopefully when I come to stick these on here and I line all the windows up there, I actually have a tiny overlap here. If I get a hairdryer or something on there once I've glued everything else down, I may be able to bend that round the corner, to bend it around there, and that would be really useful. Anyway guys, I will be back in a moment, hopefully with a little bit more to update you on.